Hello everyone, welcome back to Nader's Nemesis 2.0. This is video number 7 and I want to give you an update on the things I've been working on. As I mentioned in the last video, I'm going to get started working on some of the body items. Also, I was going to put aftermarket window motorization kits on the car. So let me give you a little quick view of what I've done there. I purchased a set of auto-lock power window conversion kits that are universal. They mount into the door and in a way that allows them to be recessed, and you can continue to utilize the stock original door panel, which I plan to do in this car. The manual conversion window uses the splined crank shaft that the handle went on before, and turns that shaft with a motor and chain assembly that's mounted in a door and can be curved to follow any kind of recesses that are in the door. It's pretty easy to install, and when used up and down, the window moves very freely and easily, and it looks like a pretty nice kit. I also use those same kits to put power windows on the back quarter panel windows. Since the engine will be back here, it'll be hard to turn a hand crank, so I decided to put motors on those windows as well, and I've got those cut in and installed and tested, and they work well. These kits are really nice. I highly recommend them to anybody. We'll see wear and tear and how they work over time, but from an installation standpoint, they worked really well. The other thing I wanted to show you is I began to work on putting some patch panels on the front fenders. As you know, you probably know, these Corvairs are a little notorious for having some rust at the bottoms of the fenders in front and in back. So I've picked up some patch panels from Clark's Corvair parts, and I've got them attached in. Panels worked really well and are in place. I'm ready to start doing the filling and getting them smoothed out. I also had some spots in the pillars, the front pillar, where there were rust spots, and I had to make some my own patch panels and put those in and get those worked in too. So I've got those done on both sides of the front fenders, and we'll be ready to start doing some filling and smoothing and all that kind of stuff with body work. The other thing I started working on is making the opening in the front for air into the radiator. I decided to use the space below the bumper and right above the bottom of the front valance. So I've cut that out and got a rough cut put in place. I'll have to spend some time and box this in, but it's quite a bit of area to be able to feed the radiator. I'm going to run a front spoiler on this car as well, which will help scoop some of the air off the lower part of the ground and deflect it up into this intake port for the radiator. So it should, from the calculations I've got for flow into the radiator, this amount of opening should be enough to supply the radiator that I'm going to be putting in. So more work to be done there. I just got the opening cut out and put in place. And then the other big chunk of work that I've been doing is working on the drivetrain. I've still not received the transaxle from Mendiola. They are manufacturing the parts, and hope to start assembling a batch of transmissions, transaxles I should say. So given I've got technical drawings of the transaxle and know all the dimensions, I decided to get the engine installed in the chassis and start building headers and the exhaust and other things that I'll need for the drivetrain. So I wanted to give you a view of what I've been doing there. I decided to put a reinforcing angle bar from the front part of the suspension assembly up to the box frame to provide a little more strength and rigidity there. And then the engine mount, I'm using the Corvair pedestal mounts, and I created or designed a cross member that bolts in place and will hold those motor mounts up and allow me to take that cross member out from the bottom and drop the engine out the bottom. Engine and transaxle, that is. And then I tried to see if there was some aftermarket headers that I could use, maybe turbo style or something like that, but nothing really worked well. It would run into something somewhere. So I decided to fabricate my own headers, and I bought a kit. It's a mild steel tubing kit, 1 7/8" primary tubes and a 3-inch collector. And I've got them directed out the back and angle towards the back to feed an X pipe that will be positioned above the transaxle. So I think they turned out pretty good. A lot of fab work, a lot of welding and adjusting and angles to get all the tubing put in the right spot. But I plan to have them ceramic coated, hoping to cut down on some of the heat. However, I think that there will still be a lot of heat in the back of these cars. From everything I've read, whenever this kind of a project's done, it's pretty warm. I've got my dry sump tank mocked up, and it'll be somewhere in that spot right there. I've just got the bracket clamped in right now. I'll get that in the proper position once I get the chassis fitted into the body. But that's what that looks like right now, and it looks pretty good. Starting to look like a car now that's got an engine in it. The next things that I'm going to be working on are making final provisions in the shell so that I can begin to lower that shell onto this chassis. I'll have to make some cuts in the rear quarter panels to make room for the wheels, and I have wheel well openings that I'll be reinstalling to make those openings a little bit bigger for these tires. But other than that, I think I'm going to be about ready to do that, and the next big chunk of work I'll be doing is focused on mating the chassis to the bodywork. So that'll be video number 8. As I always say, thanks for watching, and I hope you are enjoying this. I read every comment, and I appreciate everything all the comments you make and all the suggestions you have. I consider them and think about whether I'd want to do something different than what I'm thinking. So thanks again for doing that, and I'll look for video number 8 here in the next month or 2. Thank you.